Hello. How goes it, internets, or whatever you're listening to this podcast on? We appreciate you doing so.
Yes, welcome to the Too Good for Radio. This is the stuff that would go on the radio if radio wanted good stuff.
But it obviously doesn't.
But it does not, so we put it here.
Yes, instead, for you to consume at your leisure. We got a lot to get to in this particular one, and a new segment that we're going to be throwing out here as well, brought to you by Ball Soda. So we'll get to that here momentarily. But first, a poor gentleman in Las Vegas.
Speaking of which, yeah, you go to the Las Vegas Strip, and he's at the, I think, the Venetian Hotel.
Not just the Venetian, he's at the Palazzo, which is like the upscale part of the Venetian.
Right. And he goes to bed one night and suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night with, he says, a stabbing feeling in my private area.
No one wants that, although that's not uncommon in Vegas.
I went to the restroom, and he pulls down his pants, and he said, I saw a scorpion hanging on my underwear.
No!
Apparently, he got into bed. There was a scorpion in bed with him. It climbed up his underwear and clamped down on his testicles.
Yeah, with the stinger or with its little claws?
Does it matter?
Either way, it hurts. But with the stinger, there's a little more venom in your old boys there. You know what? I kind of want it. Hold on. I kind of want it to give him a superpower down there.
Yeah.
Of like he has a venomous penis now.
Right.
Where he just like that's it. That like all of a sudden evildoers and he comes just has to drop his pants and he sprays the venom from his dong.
Yeah, and it comes up and pinches you. Your penis comes up. Ow!
The penis pincher.
Ow!
Anyway, continue on.
His attorney shared photos of the scorpion just hanging out in his underwear. When asked if he knew how the scorpion got into his hotel room, the California man admitted that he didn't. Why is that a question?
Well, you never know.
How it got in.
It's Vegas. There's some kinky people. Maybe some people can't get there unless they have a scorpion pinching out.
I didn't look through the peephole when I ordered room service and a scorpion came in.
Scorpion knocks the door.
Room service.
Yeah, the scorpion was actually handing out the cards.
Right.
And he just happened to get in the guy's bag.
A report filed with the property, the Venetian, detailed the incident, saying he had been, quote, bitten by a scorpion on my groin/testicles.
My groin/testicle area.
Why did you have to say both?
Yeah. Why would you have to say both? And it's not bitten. The scorpion doesn't bite. It stings. Or pinches.
Does it matter? Again, Mike. You're really going into details that are
really not necessary with this man's poor junk area.
About 8 a.m, he said he was in bed and he was sleeping, and he was
that's the worst way to
diagnosed with a scorpion sting at an area hospital. Everybody was in shock. Nobody believed it. Even I couldn't believe it. The incident from the resort marked the event, added that he was considering legal action.
Yes, how much do they owe you for a scorpion sting to the balls?
He's confident that the resort has policies and procedures in place to avoid situations like this. I mean, look, you're in the desert at a hotel.
Correct. There is that.
It's less than ideal. I mean, yeah, you would think they'd fumigate or do whatever you have to do to keep scorpions out.
I mean, you expect this if you check into Circus, or Excalibur. But not the Venetian. That's supposed to be one of the good ones.
Yeah. The Venetian is saying the resort has protocols for all incidents, and we can confirm they were followed in this incident.
So they're thinking it's on him that the scorpion somehow was in his stuff before he got there.
No, I think they're just saying... we took action appropriately.
Okay. Afterwards.
We tended to the man's balls.
We cupped them ever so gently and said, you're going to be okay there, big guy.
And Channel 8 News Now in Las Vegas ends this by saying, it's a good idea to always inspect a hotel room and its surrounding areas upon checking in.
Just surfacely.
Just so
don't bring a black light into a Vegas hotel.
Right,
you'll want to run and never be there again, ever, 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 ever. Well, we go from that man getting stung in the balls to a new segment brought to you by Balls Soda, This Week in Bad Nude.
Okay.
Because we've always said throughout there's good nude and bad nude, and this is all bad nude. Let me introduce you first to a yoga studio in Billings, Montana, offering Bare Roots Yoga, which invites its participants to bear it all in a clothing-optional yoga class. They say, ultimately, we're a yoga studio that's focused on wellness, not only fitness. And this particular class is designed to boost body confidence, build community, and release trauma from the body. They say...
I don't know, seeing some guy with his foot up over his head and...
with his balls just there ready to be stung by a scorpion.
That's traumatic right there.
They say it's an opportunity for people to really be a part of something empowering and new in our community. Yoga at its core is about liberation. I'm trying to get people into a space of acknowledging what they might be holding in their bodies, and that's everything from trauma to joy, says Aaron Anderson, Limber Tree yoga teacher and owner.
And freak.
Yeah. The student says...
You know he's taking pictures while you're got your eyes closed and you're meditating.
Yes, exactly. They say there are rules and expectations for Bare Roots Yoga. You must be part of the community, not a one-time spectator. You're required to attend at least 2 other classes prior to going into the nude one.
Okay.
Lights are set on low and curtains are drawn. Disrobe only at the mat and no cameras or phones. So you can't waltz in to Bare Roots nude yoga nude already. You got to wait to get the mat.
I'm just checking my email. Click, click.
Yeah.
Oops.
No inappropriate talking or gestures, and whatever happens in the room stays in the room.
Yikes.
Here's the problem, too, right? I've heard that in yoga, from times, flatulence lets loose.
This is your biggest concern?
Well, I mean, the bigger concern is the nude and everything being akimbo and everything else.
I mean, flatulence might happen when you have perfectly clothes on. I don't know what the difference is.
But there's at least, I think, a filter in my mind than rather just straight into the air, straight from the nudeness of it all.
And, you always hear this thing from nudists that it's empowering.
To be nude.
Yeah. And I don't buy that.
I don't either.
They're all freak swingers.
They are.
That's all they are.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
This is to kind of test the wares and to see what kind of new age swingers there are.
Yeah, and that's why they have that disclaimer at everything. Whatever happens in here
stays in here. Exactly. They got pineapple juice out there for you to enjoy afterwards. Next up in This Week in Bad Nude, these poor people in Venice, California, had a naked man steal their car. They showed up when the 2 women returned to their house. They found a suspect, nude and heavy set, lying down inside their house.
Oh, no.
So they say, hey, quit being fat and nude in my home. And then he sprints out and steals their vehicle and drives off. Here's the thing, though. They find the car, but have no idea where the nude man is. The nude man disappeared into the ether.
If you steal my car in the nude, you just got a new car. I don't want it back.
How much do you have to fumigate that?
I don't want it back.
That's
your car now.
There's so much. And heavy set fat nude all over your car?
Why was he in their house?
They don't know.
That's even more horrifying. You wake up and he's there?
Around 4:20 p.m. Sunday, officers responded to Marco Place after receiving a call from a woman and her friend about a break-in. When the 2 women returned home, they found the suspect, a nude and heavy-set man, lying down inside their house.
Oh, okay.
And they said, we're going to call the cops, and that's when the nude guy flees and steals their car. By the way, the suspect then went to the vehicle. It's not clear when or how the suspect took the keys of the vehicle. I don't want to know when or how, considering he was nude.
I'll show you how to jumpstart.
Yeah, exactly. Up next in This Week in Bad Nude.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, there's 2 more. We got 2 more nudes. There's a lot of bad nude this week. Up next, we have police in Indiana who arrested a 42-year-old woman who disrobed in a public library and walked around naked. Gwen Cornell stood on a bench as she took off her clothes and then began walking through the facility. One employee told police that she advised Cornell that she needed to be clothed and that Cornell responded by saying, "Oh, really?" before walking to a computer station to look something up. I don't know what she was looking up.
Yeah.
Obviously not indecency laws. When police arrived, they found the woman sitting alone on a bench with a vape pen smelling of weed.
Oh, God.
A field test confirmed the material in the vape pen contained THC levels at greater than 0.3%. While being taken to the Hamilton County Jail, she uttered that she had been smoking weed and running around the library naked.
So she just showed up and just disrobed.
She gets in the library and she's like, I want to see, I don't know, whatever section I need. I need self-help or whatever it may be. Ha ha, joke's on you. I'm going to be nude. Now, thankfully, it was at a public library, so there were, maybe 4 people and a couple of homeless guys in there hanging out.
Employees.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, in This Week in Bad Nude, ladies and gentlemen, so we started with nude yoga. We end, so that's empowering, whatever. We end with balls out bowling happening in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, Okay.
Where the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area naturalists are hosting another Balls Out bowling event where you can bowl in the nude. You want to talk about the worst type of nude ever, right?
Do you want to?
Yes, continue.
Even if you're a nudist, do you want to bowl in the nude?
Why would you want to? You're swinging things around the way you end if you're, in the right form and everything else.
Drop it on your toes.
Drop it on something else.
Yeah.
By the way, you know how they have the air that blows for your hand? If you're standing over, does that start blowing around too?
That'd be awesome.
Flipping around, flapping around all over the place. Gutter balls come to a whole new different level. The event is for anyone over the age of 18, whether you're seasoned pro or beginner. This event is for everyone, they say. Nudity is required.
Yes.
At least the Montana one is clothing optional yoga. This one, you got to be nude, although women can wear bottoms.
Okay.
Also, they just want to let you know, sexual activity is not permitted, which means sexual activity happens, right? When you expressly put in there that it's not permitted, like don't be putting your wiener in the bowling ball hole, that kind of stuff. Those running the event say nudism does not equal consent and harassment will not be taken lightly. Violators will be asked to leave. By the way, once again, also, no photography or video is allowed, and the event is a ticketed event.
Okay.
Balls Out Bowling. If you want to go to that, it's Sunday, April 28th in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And when these things are just one-offs like this, I mean, if this was a nudist resort, and you might go, all right, whatever. But even when you look at nudist resorts and someone's playing tennis, they usually put something on, just because you're playing tennis and you're running around.
Yes, yeah. By the way, how much do they need to sanitize the bowling alley after Balls Out Bowling?
Oh, this is terrible.
Because they're sitting down in between throws, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so there's going to be ball sweat all over there.
And I like that the women can put on bottoms if they want to, but the men just got to swing around.
You got to swing around.
Just
you got to hope for the best that no one accidentally drops it or whatever it may be. That's fraught with peril. So that was This Week in Bad Nude, brought to you by Ball Soda.
There has been an issue plaguing an endangered Hawaiian seal.
Okay.
And the issue is, for some reason, this one seal has repeatedly gotten an eel stuck in its nose.
How so?
Yeah, let me show you the picture here of a.
It just so like
see this here, an eel with a.
Oh my God! Why is it trying to smell the eel, or is the eel thinking that it's a coral that it's going to live in? Like, why does it continue to happen?
Yeah, don't know. Began 2 years ago, when a lead scientist for the SEAL program woke up to a strange email from researchers in the field. The subject line was, "Eel in nose."
That seems like it may be something that you shouldn't click on.
The email then said, "We found a seal with an eel stuck in its nose. Do we have a protocol?"
That's a great question. It also sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. Got a seal with an eel.
Yeah. There was only maybe 2 inches of the eel actually sticking out of the nose. The rest was way up in there. He said it was very much like a magician's trick when they're pulling a handkerchief out of something.
It just kept
keeps
going.
Coming. After less than a minute of tugging, a 2.5 foot...
Balls Out Bowling. She'll like it too.
So they're yanking on this thing for about a minute. And they pull out a 2.5 foot dead eel.
Jesus!
From the seal's nostril.
2.5. So that's what, about yay long?
Yeah, something like that. A little
Good
more,
Lord! Yeah. Up its nostril?
He said the seals are doing fine. None of the eels, however, have survived. There were 3 or 4 more reported cases. We have no idea why this is suddenly happening. You see some very strange things when you watch nature long enough. And this is one of the little oddities that caters of our careers. From 40 years from now, we'll be retired and still questioning, why did the seal have an eel? They like to stick their faces into the coral reef holes.
Okay.
And they'll spit water out of their mouths to flush things and do all sorts of tricks.
So they scared the eels to the point where the eels wanted to escape from there and they thought any port in the storm, and they thought it was a hole in the coral.
Possible. That's what they're saying, is that it's possible that an eel was cornered and it thought the only way to escape or defend itself was to go into the seal's nose.
Yikes.
They're quite long eels, and their diameter is close to what it would be for a nasal passage. So that's what they're dealing with in
well, stop snorting eels, seals. On the topic of snakes, here is a situation where I didn't realize you could bring in packaged rattlesnake meat to eat.
Oh, I didn't know.
From different countries. Apparently, that was perfectly acceptable. It was what's lying underneath that caused the problem, as 6 people were arrested in New York earlier this week on Tuesday on charges of illegally importing goose and duck intestines from China, in some cases by hiding them under packaged rattlesnakes or mislabeling them as pet grooming products on custom forms. The scheme, which also included illegal imports of duck blood and hawthorn fruit, involved transporting the restricted food items from China to California and then on to New York.
So rattlesnake meat, okay.
Yes.
Goose intestines, not okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, yeah. The 6 were expected to appear in federal court in Brooklyn later in the day and charged with importing, storing, and selling hundreds of pounds of illegal food. Federal law prohibits importing any raw poultry products from China, and hawthorn fruit from China is also restricted. So the rattlesnake meat was perfectly acceptable when they saw that, but it was the goose and duck intestines. They go, hey, wait a second, that's weird.
Do you ever watch those smuggler shows on like National Geographic or something where they're cracking open boxes and a lot of times they do to hide it under food, and so these agents have to stick their hands into some crazy guacamole only to pull out a bag of cocaine.
I'm perplexed. I'm perplexed how rattlesnake meat is okay. Like that coming through, they're like, just snake meat. Wait a second.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait a second. What's that underneath there?
I guess we're not catching any exotic diseases from rattlesnakes yet.
Speaking of exotic things,
yes,
as we move forward, the Brazilian butt lift surgery.
Oh, yeah.
To get that Kim Kardashian backside. Everybody wants to get that badonka-donk. Well, you may get a stonk back there afterwards. Yeah, because doctors are saying the bigger butt can lead to issues with smell and cleanliness in that particular area.
Yeah, I guess they tighten everything up there, huh?
Yeah, a recent TikTok video inspired a dialogue among men about the, quote, BBL smell during intimate moments.
Right.
A man posts where he says, quote, the smell was like an assault on my nose, has garnered more than 3.5 million views, both men and women confirming the odor and explaining the reasons behind it. The general consensus on where to place the blame, women, including those who have undergone BBLs, say that a larger backside is simply harder to keep clean after using the restroom.
Oh.
The male TikToker who goes by the name of Don Soundoff.
Oh, that guy.
Discussed going on a date with a woman with BBL who later in the evening, when undressed, smelled like she had not wiped properly or washed that area well enough.
Oof.
Can you imagine thinking that, oh, man, I'm getting with someone who looks like Kim Kardashian, and the underwear go off, and you're like, well, I'd rather have an eel up my nose.
Yeah, and I guess I never really thought, as somebody who naturally has a hearty butt, I mean, it's natural.
Correct.
But this is like...
This is lifting it up and just making it pop more. A board-certified plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills confirmed the theory in a video disclosing 2 secrets that Instagram models don't want you to know about their BBL. He said wiping down there is going to be a lot more difficult because there's more to reach around. So if you're around somebody with a BBL and they smell, that's probably right. The reason is they can't clean as well.
Yeah.
And plastic surgeons...
You got to go in deeper, right? You got to
well, that's part of it, too. There's more around there, so you got to dig in deeper.
So weird.
Yeah. They also say warning about the difficulties in the bathroom. They say sitting is not allowed for about 2 months after undergoing. You can't sit.
Oh, really?
For about 2 months. So though sitting in the toilet for a relatively quick bathroom break is okay, but if they're sitting any longer, so they get rid of what they have to do.
Wow.
And then they don't wipe because
is it worth it?
And it's 2 months worth of that.
Oh, man.
Of just buildup and cake going on back in there. They say as far as wiping goes, the butt cheeks themselves are super hard and plump immediately following the surgery as the body recovering, which makes each buttocks harder to separate.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Alternating leg lifting and bending over in various ways and a sizable wad of toilet paper to really get up there.
Gee whiz.
Is it worth it?
No, this doesn't sound...
Not at all. I always alternate between toilet paper and baby wipes multiple times to make sure I'm clean before painfully squeezing back into a surgical compression garment that has to be worn 24/7 for 6 months.
You can go outside and hit it with the garden hose, I guess.
I get, because that's what we're saying. Bidets are the way to go.
Yeah,
if you got a BBL, you're going to have to also get a bidet so you don't have caked up 2 months of residue.
Oh, Lord.
No wonder it smells back there. Yeah.
You gotta. Are people being warned about this going in?
No, I don't think so.
They probably aren't.
That's why we're helping out.
Because they're always, it's like, oh, wow, look how round and firm and and nobody ever says, oh, by the way.
You're going to have 2 months of caked on doo-doo.
Every date you have is going to end on the first night.
Yeah, because if you try to disrobe it all, it's going to get into that because of leftover. You're going to have to shower the hell. Exactly. You're going to have, you know what? Ladies, if you're going to do that, you need to rent out an automatic car wash and just stand there and let it do its work. Because that's the only way.
High-pressure hoses.
Exactly. That's the only way. Rent yourself a pressure washer.
Oh, man.
And finally, in the Too Good for Radio podcast, there's a new term on TikTok. It's a relaxation trend. It's called hurkle durkle.
Hurkle durkle?
Yeah. Want to do a little hurkle durkle?
Okay.
Hurkle durkle apparently is an old Scottish term that means to lie in bed when one should be up and about.
All right.
And so apparently hurkle durkling is different than bed rotting.
So a nap?
No.
No, it's not a nap.
No, it's not anything to do with sleeping. So bed rotting was originally the term. And bed rotting is just staying in your bed all day and just kind of wasting away with snacks and electronic devices and just staying in bed all day. Hurkle durkling is staying in bed a little bit longer than you should. They say, unlike bed rotting, hurkle durkling is typically reserved for the morning or weekend and doesn't last for an extended period of time. Bed rotting is often linked to burnout recovery, while hurkle durkling is more leisure.
No. This is.
What do you mean, no?
Because I do this every day. It doesn't need a name.
You don't want to do the hurkle durkle?
It's just lazy, and I don't want to get up, or it's. I don't want to face the day, or whatever.
No. They say hurkle durkling refers to reading a book or drinking some tea, browsing the web while relaxing under the covers. That's what hurkle durkling is, not bed rotting. So hurkle durkling is durkling is you wake up and you want to spend a little extra time in bed.
Right. Everybody does that.
Everybody hurkle durkles?
Yes.
I like saying hurkle durkling more than just being lazy.
If you ever even use the snooze button, by that definition, you're hurkle durkling.
I don't know if snoozing is hurkle durkling.
Of course it is.
I don't think snoozing is hurkle durkling.
Based on what you said, hurkle durkle is.
Because snoozing means that I'm going to go back to sleep. Hurkle durkling is actively doing something while I'm still in bed. Do you want to ask somebody this weekend to hurkle durkle with you?
No. If you're not going to invite someone to do that.
If you text someone just out of the blue, hey, you want to do some hurkle durkle this weekend?
If this thing is taken over on TikTok, everyone knows what it is except us, I guess.
Yes, exactly. So the listeners of the Too Good for Radio podcast, I implore you, text someone you want to do a hurkle durkle, or I'm sorry, I'm just getting back to you.
Yeah.
I had to hurkle durkle a little bit, and see what their reaction is.
Right, exactly.
If they're objectively like, oh my God, what are you doing? You can't tell me that kind of stuff. You can't hurkle durkle.
But if they know what you're talking about, then they're 14.
So probably shouldn't
be texting them.
Yes, exactly. That is correct. So that'll do it for today's, or this week's, I should say, Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast. We learned a lot.
We did?
Yeah, we learned don't do the BBL surgery.
Right.
It's not worth it. And we also learned there's a lot of bad nude still out there, despite our best efforts.
That's right. If you can pull off the 7-10 split, she'll like it too.